In what appeared to be the largest attack of its kind in recent memory, approximately 7 mortar rounds landed in the U.S. Embassy compound in Baghdad during an attack. This is according to a U.S. military official. The embassy attack marked the first time it had been fired on in more than a year, apparently widening the range of targets. In recent weeks, dozens of military bases housing U.S. forces have been attacked, increasing fears of a broadening regional conflict. The United States strongly condemned the attacks and called on Iraq to bring the perpetrators to justice. Now, the U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said in a statement, and I quote, "The many Iran-aligned militias that operate freely in Iraq threaten the security and stability of Iraq, our personnel, and our partners in the region," unquote. Now, meanwhile, Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani warned that attacks on the embassies undermine the country's security. He called on security forces to bring those responsible to justice. The UN Assistance Mission for Iraq also condemned the attack and warned of repercussions. They wrote on social media platform X, and I quote, "The UNAMI condemns this morning's rocket attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. All diplomatic premises must be protected in line with international law, as underscored by the Iraqi government," unquote. Now, the attacks come against a backdrop of the more than 2-month war between U.S. ally Israel and Hamas in Gaza. The United States leads an international coalition battling jihadists in Iraq and neighboring Syria, and its forces have come under repeated attack in recent weeks. U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria have been attacked at least 84 times since the 17th of October. This comes after Hamas's 7th of October attack on Israel. The Pentagon says that the attacks have left at least 60 U.S. personnel wounded. The U.S. has responded with a series of strikes that have killed at least 15 militants in Iraq and up to 7 in Syria. To give you an idea as to where the U.S. troops are stationed in the Middle East, here is a map. In Syria, approximately 900 soldiers are stationed to conduct counter-terrorism operations against ISIS. In Iraq, around 2,500, though the presence of the U.S. military is a sensitive domestic issue in Jordanian politics. There were around 2,900 personnel as of the June of 2023 at the request of the Jordanian government. At least 8,000 U.S. forces are deployed to the large Al Udeid air base southwest of Doha, which hosts the regional headquarters for the U.S. Central Command. As of 2022, there were over 9,000 U.S. military personnel assigned to the NSC Bahrain, and in 2021, there were 13,500 U.S. personnel and thousands of pieces of equipment in Kuwait, primarily at Camp Ajifan and Al-Shalem Air Base. Now, in December of 2022, there were over 2,700 U.S. troops stationed in Saudi Arabia to train, advise, and assist its armed forces and to protect U.S. interests in the region from Iran and its proxies. The UAE has been a key U.S. ally in the Middle East for years, hosting up to 3,500 U.S. personnel. There are a few hundred troops stationed in Oman, primarily from the Air Force. The U.S. has over 1,000 troops in Turkey, a NATO member, primarily at an air base near the city of Adana and an air station near Izmir.